To another spectacle of sorts, presidential hopefuls on both sides of the aisle descending on Iowa to speak and show their faces in glad hand at the Iowa State Fair. But the headlines aren't coming from the so-called soapbox today. Hillary Clinton nabbing a major endorsement last night. Former Iowa Senator Tom Harkin said he's getting behind Clinton, writing an op-ed in the Des Moines Register, quote, "Inequality is still lived by kids all across the country, from our inner cities to small towns of Iowa. Today, too many talented children face limits on their futures. They need a champion in the White House. I know Hillary Clinton will be that champion." Is this what Hillary needs to offset the email scandal, which is grabbing a lot of attention? Let's bring in Deroy Murdock. He is Fox News contributor and a columnist, along with Richard Goodstein, Democratic strategist and an advisor to Hillary Clinton's 2008 presidential campaign. Let's be honest. How big, Richard, is an endorsement from a former senator, granted senator from Iowa at the time of the Iowa State Fair?
Well, a couple things, Liz. It's big in two regards. First, Tom Harkin is probably the most prominent Democrat that Iowa's ever seen. He served in the Senate for 6 terms. And remember, he ran for president himself in 1992, actually won the Iowa caucus that year. Bill Clinton, that was the year that he got elected president. I think there's a high regard for Tom Harkin in Iowa because he's kind of seen as a straight shooter. He's not horribly partisan. He worked with Grassley, the Republican senator from Iowa. So I think it carries actually outsized weight more than most endorsements do.
Well, he's having a wingding dinner tonight, and then Hillary's going to attend the wingding dinner, and then tomorrow she, like a lot of the other candidates, Deroy, will descend upon the Iowa State Fair, and they will start shaking hands and pretending they're enjoying the funnel cakes and all of that. Although I think funnel cakes are delish. I think they're fabulous. But how important
the low-calorie funnel
is it? Yeah, exactly. How important is it to be seen, you know, schmoozing with the masses out there?
Well, for a regular campaign, this might be good news and maybe even consequential news. I think for Hillary Clinton, given all of her problems, this is like the announcement of a late-night wine tasting on the Titanic. She's taking water in big, by the tens of thousands of gallons. This information coming out about the email scandal. Originally it was, well, there's no classified data on the server. Well, it turns out, yes, there was classified data. In fact, top secret data. And now we're finding out today top secret data regarding drone activities and this sort of thing. This is very, very serious. I think this has political repercussions for her. Her untrustworthiness numbers are going to keep going up. And I think she's potentially facing significant legal trouble. So
well,
she's really
no denying that it has put a very harsh spotlight on an ugly situation that seems to be developing, Richard. But there's another situation that's developing, and that is Al Gore and Joe Biden for president, vice president, who knows what. I mean, I think the bumper stickers are even out there right now. We joke, but our graphics department decided to see what that would look like. Biden, Gore, Gore, Biden, who knows? But is it possible that one or both of these names will be a reality as far as this race is concerned?
No, and I'll tell you why, but I do need to correct something that Deroy and so many other people speaking, not just on this network, but many say. It is indisputable. The Inspector General said himself that there was nothing that Hillary Clinton that moved through her email that was labeled classified at the time. Now, Hillary Clinton's a very, very smart woman, but she's not clairvoyant. She couldn't look into the future years later when somebody outside the State Department would say, you know what, maybe now in hindsight, that should have been labeled classified. It was not. And when people say, one second, excuse me. When you say that it was classified or top secret, the answer is absolutely not. That's a canard. It was not labeled that. And there's a distinction. Either it was, in which case, then that's a problem. Or, as the Inspector General says, it was not, in which case, honestly, this is a faux scandal. It's the reason that Democrats are sticking with Hillary Clinton. And with all due respect to Gore and Biden, who Democrats love, Hillary Clinton has the support of 2/3 of the Democrats in the Senate. Over half the Democrats in the House have endorsed her.
Okay, but Deroy, she still remains a leader in many polls.
She's still up in polls, but she's going down. She's sinking. There's a tremendous lack of enthusiasm. You look conversely at Bernie Sanders, who's on the West Coast speaking to 25,000 people in L.A., 28,000, I think, in Portland. These are the kind of numbers you see the Democrat or Republican nominee seeing in swing states maybe a week before the general election. To see this kind of a turnout for a candidate who's basically been a not very well-known senator in a Democratic primary, while you see a lack of enthusiasm on the part of Hillary Clinton, I think is very stark and, again, illustrates the fact that her candidacy is weak and getting weaker by the day.
We can't leave without mentioning Donald Trump, who is expected to at least go somewhere near the butter cow. I mean, the butter cow is a very real very important situation at both the Iowa State and the Ohio State Fair, which I've covered many times, so I know these things. But how comfortable must this guy forced to be? Look, there's the butter cow. Breaking news. It's not melting. But, you know, Richard, he's got to look comfortable, doesn't he, when he's out there? Maybe not.
So he may be able to fake it. And, you know, Chris Christie talked about how he thought Donald Trump was disqualified because of the coarse rhetoric he used. And you know, again, it will be transparent to everybody in Iowa. You know, will he wear his suit with his very spiffy tie and white shirt, or will he try to dress down? Look, the fact of the matter is, when you're calling everybody stupid and losers, that's not what people want to hear from their president.
And Deroy, not in Iowa. They don't want to hear that in Iowa. Or maybe they do. I don't know. What do you think?
I think Iowa, they tend to like their politics pretty nice, I believe. But look, he has his own particular way of doing things, and that seems to be, every time he says something controversial, people say that's the end of his campaign, he just goes up another 5 points. It's remarkable.
Deroy Murdock, Fox News contributor and columnist, along with Richard Goodstein, a Democratic strategist. Great to have you both.
Thank you, Liz.